EU member state, NATO member state, Council of Europe member state, OECD member state. The Prime Minister of Slovenia, officially the President of the Government of the Republic of Slovenia, is the head of the Government of the Republic of Slovenia. There have been 9 office holders since the country gained parliamentary democracy in 1989 and independence in 1991. The Prime Minister of Slovenia is nominated by the President of the Republic after consultation with the parties represented in the National Assembly. He is then formally elected by a simple majority of the National Assembly. If no candidate receives a majority, a new vote must be held within 14 days. If no candidate receives a majority after this round, the President must dissolve the legislature and call new parliamentary elections unless the National Assembly agrees to hold a third round. If no candidate is elected after a third round, then the legislature is automatically dissolved pending new elections. In practice, since the appointee must command a majority of the National Assembly in order to govern, he or she is usually the leader of the majority party in the National Assembly or the leader of the senior partner in the governing coalition. The National Assembly can only withdraw its support from a Prime Minister by way of a constructive vote of no confidence, that is, a motion of no confidence is of no effect unless a prospective successor has the support of a majority. The Prime Minister is also the President of the National Security Council. The Prime Minister is elected by the National Assembly of Slovenia. Following the parliamentary election, new National Assembly meets at the constitutive session. After the consultations, the President of the Republic can officially propose a candidate to the President of the National Assembly. This has to be done within 30 days after the constitutive session. Assembly takes vote on the candidate within 7 days, but not earlier than 48 hours after proposal. Candidate has to present his vision of his government before the National Assembly before the vote. When a Prime Minister is elected, the formation of a new government begins. If there is no Prime Minister elected, the second round will take place. After new consultations, the President of the Republic can propose a new candidate or the same candidate again within 14 days of the first round vote. In the second round, parliamentary groups and groups of 10 MPs can propose a candidate as well. Vote takes place no earlier than 48 hours from the proposal but not later than 7 days from it. If there are more candidates proposed, the National Assembly will first vote on the candidate proposed by the President of the Republic. Only if that candidate is not elected, the Assembly will take votes on other candidates in the order of submission of the proposals. A Prime Minister is elected with absolute majority. When a Prime Minister is elected, formation of a new government begins. If National Assembly once again fails to elect a Prime Minister, then President of the Republic will dissolve the National Assembly and call a snap election. Unless the National Assembly decides, within 48 hours from the vote, to hold the third round of election. In the third round, the Prime Minister is elected by a relative majority. Votes take place within 7 days from the decision but not earlier than 48 hours. In the third round, the National Assembly first votes on all the candidates from the first and second round. And if none of the candidates receives a majority of votes, then it will vote on new proposals. First on the proposal by the President of the Republic, then on the other in the order of submission. If a Prime Minister is elected, formation of a new government begins. If not, the President dissolves the National Assembly and snap election takes place. The Prime Minister officially takes office after all of his ministers take oath of office before the National Assembly, following the election of government with a relative majority in the National Assembly. The Prime Minister takes the oath of office after his election. The Prime Minister and other ministers take the same oath of office according to the Article 104 of the Constitution. I swear that I shall uphold the constitutional order, that I shall act according to my conscience, and that I shall do all in my power for the good of Slovenia. Parties: KPS, ZKS, SDP. There are 6 former living Prime Ministers. Incumbent Prime Minister Janez Janša held the office between 2004 to 2008 and 2012-2013 as well. There were only 2 other Prime Ministers, Janez Drnovšek and Andrej Bajuk. Dronafsek died in 2008 and Bajuk in 2011. Lowe's Peter Le age 72 served 1990 to 1992. Anton Rop age 60 served 2002 to 2004. Borit Po age 57 served 2008 to 2012. Alenka Bratiskaj 50 served 2013-2014. Myro Serrar age 58 served 2014 to 2018. Marjan Sarik age 43 served 2018 to 2020. Upon retirement, former prime ministers do not receive any special honors or privileges. They are IH.